What's going on, guys? Kaiger here, doing the fairy tier list for PvP and PvE early December. We're adding Earth Anatheria and Headmaster Camellia to the list now that they're in the game, and I've had a chance to play with it and talk to other players. Let's jump into it. Alright guys, we have a bunch of fairies at this point. We have over 40 fairies in the game. Let's not waste any time. This is PvP. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on them in the PvP section. Then when we go to PvE, I'm going to go through it a little bit quicker. We got Milim. We have Holy, Fire, Wind, Water, and Earth. And it'll be the same rotation as we go down lower. Milim, head and shoulders above the rest. The stopping of movement, which can be countered with things like Ninja Tool, the second skill of Kuragakure, and Dragon's Roar from Dragon Fighter, or Strength of Nature from Wind Chaser. You can get out of it, but you legitimately are forcing it the moment you click the button. Also does damage if you have it high enough, attack boost, and also increases damage from all your other fairies. Then you have Sakura. It takes a second to do the stun, but it's also a defense down and high damage. We have Urza. Her skill itself has been buffed 3 times. The skill and passive, so that it deals most of its damage up front, harder to dodge, and also in things like Top League where you can't use fairies, it just gives you a flat damage increase for one of your 2 classes. Then we have Hydreiga Flames, high damage, anti-dodge, and high... it's also pretty quick. We have Winter Cherry, which primarily here has a free rigidity in the fire tier. Some people are saying she's getting worse nowadays. I don't feel that. I think now that things are getting a bit tankier now with the pet system, fire just having HP in its passive tree as well as this free rigidity that you can kind of play around by using some dodges, wait till it comes back up, is very, very powerful. Here in the wind tier, we have very similar to what we said about Holy, where you have one that's kind of above the rest. If there was like an S plus tier, Milim and Tranquil Balloon Flower would be above the others. Tranquil Balloon Flower does good damage, pretty quick, as well as gives you that cooldown reduction, which with certain classes goes really ham. The biggest example that I show is Gladiator, that's able to do Moonslash literally twice in a row, which is one of the strongest abilities in the entire game. Then we have these 2 that kind of go together, Almond Blossom and Eldwise. They both kind of go together. They're both defensive passives. Eldwise gives you crit immunity, and Almond Blossom ignores the first CC, first debuff that comes your direction. Water, we have 1A, 1B. They're both about the same on this tier. We have Blue Rose, that does high damage if you're at high HP and reduces incoming damage if you're at low HP, as well as increases the damage you deal to enemies that get lower. We have Gardenia, that lowers your healing but also heals you for a butt ton, does good damage, and is just all around good. Here in the Earth tier, we have Tulip, which is still the best, which is pretty interesting. Normally the newest one gets pushed up, but Tulip gives you that gambling, which is actually a major boost for Earth, especially with the changes to the Earth Echo when Earth Anatheria came out. And then when the gambling is settled, you just hit like a dump truck. uh, Anathria Earth. A lot of people thought she would be kind of low in PvP because when you read her kit, it kind of sounds like PvE exclusively, which the bonus to Earth weakness is PvE exclusive, but the passive and flat damage is available in PvP. If you're Earth, she's pretty high up there. Then we have Foxglove, which is primarily here for the passive that gives you that crit if you have a shield. A lot of people bring Priest. It is actually a 1-2 combo there where you get the shield, where you get the crit boost from Star Blessing that gives you the shield that also gives you the Foxglove. Down here in the A tier, we have Mistletoe. Its main thing is you're putting down the circle if they try to dodge out of it, which is normally the response to any kind of thing on the field. Even though dodge normally makes you unable to be interacted with, you will get stunned and then you will get killed by their other fairies. We have a 1-2 combo right here. Butterfly Orchid and Hibiscus, where Butterfly Orchid loses HP to give you a shield and also immobilizes the enemies. And then we have Hibiscus, which does AoE damage, which is nice when they're immobilized, and heals you and does more damage based on the heal. And because you reduced your HP, you're able to heal more. Natsu, I really wish they updated him to make him a bit faster, just a little bit faster, literally a second to a second and a half would have him up here in the S tier. Damage is ridiculous. AoE is ridiculous. He's just slow. Then we have Hydreiga, execute damage and anti-heal. Then we have Dahlia, can literally one-shot a tankier person, but if they have any way to give themselves immunity, she does nothing. Water, only Ikoria, anti-death. That's literally what you want from water. Wind, we have Camellia, mainly here for the passive, the movement speed and damage reduction. Very, very powerful. The tornado is good. You generally have to use a dodge, if not two, depending on how high star level you have her and when you decide to cast her skill. Very, very powerful. Primrose here at the A tier, which is funny, a Gem 1 fairy all the way up here. Stun, damage reduction on yourself even if you don't hit the stun. Down here in the B tier, we have we have Laurel, AoE damage, pretty quick, tracks pretty well. He doesn't track specifically on their head, but he has enough AoE that generally he will still hit them regardless of what they do. Licorice, generally have to be you need a setup fairy, like Tranquil Balloon Flower, Butterfly Orchid, something like Milim or something to allow you to set up the stun. But make no mistake, she's the second ever Holy Fairy, but if you're able to combo with her, she's guaranteeing a kill. Then we have here the B tier. I put Diablo above Rose this time around because the burn effect and the speed of the skill is superior than Rose. Down here in Wind, we have Camellia, which is, both of these are kind of combo fairies, Camellia and Balloon Flower. They both work together, or Camellia and the Tranquil Balloon Flower also work really well together. Camellia doing that PvP knockup is powerful, but takes like a medium speed to activate. You need something like a regular Balloon Flower pull-in effect, which also works well with the defense down, as well as something like Tranquil Balloon Flower are just really good combos. Water sucks in PvP realistically. As far as their fairy options, we have Lavender. Sleep and walk away is the idea here. Then with Earth, we have Daisy pairs really well with Capybara, a bunch of taunt going around, and if they hit someone other than you, they deal less damage, as well as Daisy does burn damage to them. Down here in the C and D tier are generally fairies that are built for PvE. As we see, Gypsophilia needs to be in PvE or longer fights, which there aren't a lot of in PvP. Then we have Rimuru that is good. Like, if you just read Rimuru's abilities, they are very good, but the only things they can get rid of are generally stat increases. Ixoria can lead to some pretty devastating kills, but in general, you're losing enough HP that the enemy will probably kill you already. Hyacinth was really good when he came out over in SEA before Global even happened, if that gives you an idea of what's going on here. But Hyacinth took so long to come out, he got outpaced before he even released on Global. Down here, Lotus and Hydreiga are 1A, 1B. Hydreiga gives you defense up. In between the two, it's either a stun or a silence, both very, very powerful effects. Then we have Carnation with the Earth buff. She's here in the C tier. If not, she would be down here in the D tier. People are getting more maneuverable, so it's harder for her to hit. Down here in the D tier, we have Twin Lotus and Chestnut Rose and Wendy, which exclusively say PvE. You can even say that about Marigold, deal damage to things weak to earth, but also has a slow effect, so it could be looked at as slightly better, but it's still down here in the D tier. Then we have Dandelion, which sounds like the coolest fairy in the game, but as Echo 5 and higher were added, it just gets weaker and weaker. Viola actually has an ability on their basic, same with up here Mistletoe, but just gets outpaced by any other fairy in the game, and Candok is Candok. Down here for PvE, going quicker here, we have the 1-2 combo of Twin Lotus and Gypsophilia. I bring them in most of my PvE matchups. Just really, really high damage. 1A, 1B right here for fire. We have give something the fire weakness and damage increase with Winter Cherry. And then we also have more fire damage increase with Chestnut Rose. And then a 1C contender, Natsu, that does damage the lower HP they are, especially in something like Elemental Realm, which the fire one loses HP. It's very, very powerful damage-wise, especially if you have the 1-2 increase. Over here in Wind, we have Tranquil Bloom Flower. The cooldown is the biggest thing here. Camellia, the AoE is ridiculous, especially in the Elemental Realm, which she's literally built for. It was a regular Balloon Flower's world. Now it's hers. Over here in Water, we have Blue Rose. She literally is just always going to give you bonus damage, which is what you want. Gardenia, the whole anti-heal, more heal thing doesn't matter, but her damage and speed of skill is very, very good. Over here in Earth, they just have really high damage. Earth Anathria giving you bonus damage to Earth, high damage. Foxglove giving you extra crit, so you can hit those crit numbers, so you can actually crit in PvE. And Tulip with the Gamble, very, very powerful. Down here in the A tier, Milim, the anti-move doesn't really matter. It's mainly here for the attack boost and the fairy damage boost. We have Urza here for the passive bonus damage, as well as just high damage. We have Anathria Flames. The anti-dodge doesn't matter, only here for the high damage and speed of skill. Anathria, the Earth Elemental Realm loses HP, so you get more points based on your execute damage. Hyacinth, more cooldown, literally all you want. Balloon Flower, bring them together, defense down, that's what she's here for. Ikoria, the anti-death doesn't really matter, but the damage and speed of skill, that's generally what a lot of these are going to boil down to. Carnation and Marigold are both very, very good now, especially with the Earth Echo boost. Carnation adding a road to everyone very, very quickly, and Marigold pairing well with Anatheria Earth for more Earth weakness damage. We just don't have a way to give something Earth weakness. We have Laurel, Sakura, and Hibiscus, which are all three here for their damage. We have Ixoria, which you can kind of argue could be up in A because she is slightly better than these two right here. But all three here for similar reasons. Ixoria is going to boost your numbers. If you're not worried about dying against something weak to fire, she's going to literally just pump your numbers. Then we have Diablo, which is more single target. Rose, which is more AoE, but in most PvE, it's going to be focused on single target. Then our only wind here is going to be, what's her name? Almond Blossom, here for the passive and damage. Viola, AoE water. We are really struggling for water choices in PvE. Daisy, the reflect damage is what it's here for. C, we have the shield and damage from Butterfly Orchid. Then we have Licorice, which looks weak because of the amount of damage it deals on the card that you look at, but it hits 6 times. That's what's here. Dahlia does enough to be in C tier. Wendy, the biggest thing she's missing, she could easily be up here in the A tier if she increased damage to wind weakness. Then we have Dandelion. The bonus wind effect is okay. It's enough to be up here in the C tier. Then we have Lavender. It puts things to sleep, which isn't important in PvE, but it does increase the damage you deal to the target, which is literally enough to be up here in C. Very similar things over here with Lotus and Hydreiga. Enough damage to be here. Primrose. The only reason she's not down here in D tier is the Earth Elemental Realm is focused around stun effects, which is what she's there for. Down here in the D tier are all fairies that are focused on PvP, especially Rimuru, which can't really steal anything in PvE. There just aren't any bosses with things he can take. And then Candok is Candok. Let me know what you guys think down below. Until next time, guys.